Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us on the Cindy Cochran Show. I'm Cindy Cochran, so it works out real well. But I have been doing this show for, so long, since 2012. I've been doing this show, but we're in a different studio than we used to be. And
you're kind of fibbing a little bit there.
Is it? No, it's 2012.
2012, yeah, but then you took, what,
5 years?
5 years off.
Yeah, then
So you haven't been doing it since 2012.
Well, I've been...
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't know what I was doing at home practicing.
Well, you weren't doing the Cindy Cochran Show.
Well, at home I was. Did you go to my Facebook and see what I was trying to do? I had 3 strokes and I had a quadruple bypass.
See, that's what she tells people, but the real truth is she's been incarcerated for like 6 years.
She's been upstairs. She's been in the high tower.
She used to deal a lot of pills, and you know that, what was that guy from Mexico that's been arrested and digging tunnels?
Oh,
She, Chavez or
Chavez.
one of them.
Yeah, one of those guys. Yeah.
She was the right-hand man of El Chapo.
The other end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm sure she was at home with her feet up eating bonbons.
Yeah. I don't know why he'll say stuff like this, this almost like a one of those people that Tourette syndrome. You never know what's going to come out of his mouth. And I'm telling somebody a story, and he'll go, "Yeah, well, tell them about the time that you had that illegitimate child." And you're like, what? What are you talking about? And I don't know how long the people have the show on before they turn it off, and then you don't know what they got. Okay.
Yeah, they snapped in just for that part.
But otherwise, he's very strict about what you can and can't say, and it's on a community radio show. So he said, now you can't discuss religion, or you can't discuss
this
politics.
Is when Cindy doesn't listen to me because it sounds so general. What it is we are a government licensed FM station. So think of us as like PBS.
Yeah, right.
So
okay, that makes sense.
we're the station itself as a host, and the content that we produce should not have a bias in a religious sense or political sense.
Right.
It should be non-bias.
And I'm not biased at all.
Yes, you are. I have to watch you all the time.
This is a sign he has to do. Like, you're on the fence.
You're on the fence.
Oh, we can use that.
Yeah,
Martha might use that.
And the worst thing about her is it's not fun. Like, if she was like a conspiracy theorist kind of crazy, that would be fun. But you're like, oh, she's really serious about this. Like, we're not talking aliens and lizard people or anything like that.
No.
Yeah, I've spent years with Mark talking about that line in his conversations. Sometimes he will see the line and then intentionally go right past it. So
why not?
We'd have a chat. And
Well,
next time
her
when
point,
you
which
see
is
the
I don't
line.
agree with, is that just because something's funny, it doesn't need to be said. And my thing is, if it's funny, it needs to be said.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it needs to be
and
said.
outrageous,
Not
it needs to be
necessarily.
said.
It needs to be said. Yeah.
He has to get that out of his system, then he feels like he's part of the show. We want to make sure.
Well, I didn't even bring up the white powder you carry around.
Okay. I have to
foundation,
explain this
right?
story every time. No, I have to take blood thinners, so I have to have this white powder on my keychain on this. Now look at this. If this doesn't look suspicious, I don't know what. But the white powder is in there. So if a policeman ever came and said, "Okay, now what's in here?" and he opens it up and the white powder, he'd go, "Oh God, that's horrible." That must be a blood coagulator, and that's what it is.
Right.
It coagulates the blood, so I don't bleed to death.
But she has a black one and a silver one.
A gold.
Yeah.
So, and a gold one.
And a
So
gold.
again, my story about her being incarcerated could be true. You don't really know. And she carries those around, as test products. She's like, "Yo, you want to test my product? I got
It's pure.
it's pure right
pure.
here. I got the chop
Gotcha.
stuff."
Pure.
Okay, so I have to tell you, many years ago, in another lifetime, I was a poker dealer in Las Vegas.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sitting there at the table dealing poker, and we most of our clientele in the place I was working were older. It was kind of a community club-like atmosphere there. And I got this one old guy sitting there at the table playing like he usually does, and his friend comes hobbling over with a cane and says, "I got to show you this." And he pulls out of his pocket one of those little brown glass jars.
Yeah.
From the 70s, if you know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
That with the little screw cap on the top and the little stick that would go down inside it. And he says, "Look at that." And he's swinging it back and forth, and it's got this white powder in it. And I'm like, what the heck? Is this guy really waving cocaine around in here? And he says, "Yeah, I got this to put my nitroglycerin in, and it is so handy. You need to get yourself some of these." I'm like, okay, I get
That's
it
right.
now.
People carry around nitroglycerin. That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Martha, if somebody said,
I feel like that
okay,
should be on
I
a
want
bumper
you-
sticker. Like, I'm traveling with
want you-
nitroglycerin.
Yeah.
I want
Don't
you to
hit me. Don't hit me.
I
I've
want
got
you to meet
nitro.
Martha, and I'm going to give you about 5 seconds to figure out what different jobs she may have done.
Oh, good heavens.
And that would have been one of them. You have got such an authority, and I can see you standing behind the thing and,
Oh yeah.
just doing all that stuff that they do to make people feel like intimidated. But if you know what you're doing, what you're saying, and all that. But
I
with
do
the-
have a reputation.
Yeah,
But
that's
what
her spiritual
happens,
gift
though?
is intimidation. Intimidation is one that.
What would happen if I came up and goes, "Okay, I've only played like battles, so could you help me with how to get to this point?" And I bet people, want you to teach them, right, when they come up, whenever they would come up, say,
People think I'm a poker expert. I'm a poker
Yeah.
dealing expert. I'm not a poker playing expert. Although I do know how to play, but people that want me to teach them how to beat the house with, how to win at
How to
poker, it's
win,
like, okay,
yeah.
I got a good book for you, but I can't really help you with that.
but could you do all the card tricks, like the way that they flip the cards, and you could do all that?
Oh yeah.
A lot of it,
Shuffling,
yes.
all your shufflings.
All your
The
shuffling.
yeah, and the fanning and the.
Can you still do all the shuffling, or did you put
well,
that
it's
away?
been a long time. That was
Back in
40
that-
years ago, 30.
Yeah.
33, right before we.
Yeah, right before we
And
Yeah.
you left that sinful life. I'm so proud of you. Yes, you are proud. You know who we're talking to? We're talking to Mark and Martha White. And I teased so bad yesterday the audience and said we're going to have this couple on, and we're talking about this big black box that was on Highway 75 for so long, and nobody knew what it was. Now,
Yeah.
and what was going on in there. And now what I saw and remember seeing is 1012 Project is what it was about. I know it's called something different now, but
Well,
at one point, did it ever have project next to the name? 1012.
I don't think so. We've been in that they've been in that building how long on?
8 years.
8 years. We came.
Maybe
We've been
9.
there 7 years. So
Yeah.
there was a year we missed, but
Well-
I think the it's always been 1012 Church.
Okay.
From what I understand.
Well, now you've
But the
given it
church is
away.
small, and the 1012 stands out big.
Okay, now
Right,
you've given
and it's
it away. It's a
confusing,
church.
yes.
That's what
Yeah.
Because I kept saying the 1012 Project, and I said, I know about the Manhattan Project and what that was. So it was driving me crazy. What's going on in this building? What's happening in there?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't go down 75 too much, but my daughter, my granddaughter, starts dating a boy, and she said, "Grandma, he's real religious, and I says, "Well, where does he go to church?" And she said, "That 1012 church." And I said, "The 1012 church? What? Wait a minute. Where's that?" And I said, they said, "That big black box, that's where the church is." And I said, "That's a church?" I said, "Oh my word." And all this time I had all these conspiracy theories, what could be going on in there.
Well, it's also a fireworks stand, so it's
Now,
Couple of times a
Boomtown
year,
is-
yeah.
Boomtown, right?
yes.
Yeah, twice a
Boomtown
year during when
fireworks.
they sell fireworks.
And
We
so-
have to move out and they move in.
So when they sell fireworks, it's a huge building, like for a fireworks building. But
Yeah.
they do fireworks twice a year, but 3 times because of January.
well,
like
it's
Christmas.
3 weeks each, twice a year. So
Yeah.
it's so we're out of the building for 3 weeks at the end of December,
Yeah.
right up until New Year's Eve, and 3 weeks in July, June, July, before the 4th of July.
And,
right, so
and then y'all go homeschool and go to homes, and everybody meets at homes. You have different, like small groups.
Yeah.
We all have,
Yeah,
we have
exactly.
a small group places anyway. And but it's really cool because then you have a coziness of a home and all, and so it may be hard to get them back and to come back and do church in there, because it's like people watching TV, church on TV, and getting those people back. Get them out of bed, and unless we let them come in your pajamas and bring your coffee, and we'll sit you on the back row and it'll be fine, because we can't. Because people say, I'm just so I can lay down there, and they go through how much comfortable it is. I said, yeah, but we're texting. What's so funny is that the church where I go, we're texting, like, good morning, how are y'all? I'm here. I wish I could be there with y'all, and all that stuff. And I'm thinking, I really would rather be there, and I couldn't wait to hug somebody, because that's what we miss.
Yeah, we
the
do.
most.
We do live stream the services on YouTube, and we have some people who have never been in the building. They only watch us on YouTube, and we would know that because we would have technical issues, and we wouldn't get the weekly. Get the live stream going, and we'd get a message on YouTube saying, "What happened to you guys? I was waiting for you."
I missed church, and that's on y'all. I told God, I was here. I was laying in bed waiting for the thing to happen.
Yeah.
But it's been a phenomenon with that pandemic that came, and did y'all shut down? Did you?
Yes and no.
Do it? You did. You didn't tell
You
them.
want to take this one away?
Well, we did close.
We shut the church.
And
Yes.
then what we started doing was so at that time we had a full-time pastor and his wife, and then Martha and I helped out and supported them. So when they were out, we would fill in and do their responsibilities. So we kind of had two people. So we got together with that and a couple other the staff people and did a just like this. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
just
so,
like
so
this.
awkwardly weird. It's just like this. We were at a table about this size, and we all sat around
In his kitchen. Our
in his
pastor's
kitchen.
Oh, and
And we
did a
would-
podcast? Like
Yeah.
that? Oh.
Yeah, and really did it this way, and we had the guy off to the side, making sure all the levels were right.
He was
and
actually
everything
in the
sounded
living
good.
room.
and
We were in
so-
the kitchen, and he had his setup in the living room.
That's awesome. That was good.
It was
I like
it was
the
really good because it
podcast
was a
idea.
discussion format, and then people could
they could send
message
messages
in their
in.
questions, and we
Right.
could and it really turned into a neat question answer kind of thing, where we would start with a topic, but then people would come in and then put in their questions, and then you could and so it's kind of neat because so often in church you don't realize what people know and don't know,
Right,
And so for
right.
somebody to ask a question about something that you didn't realize, and then you start talking about that, and then we discuss the others, and it went really well. We had a few people that were upset.
Yeah.
That just thought, to have 4 people or 5 people in a room that close was, but
Did you biblically, come back at him and look, it's 2 or more, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
no.
we're good.
I think we were on the other end where they didn't want us to be having 2 or more together, gathered together. I think they were the people that were happy with 1 or less. So.
Yeah. Oh, sure. It was really a struggle, and I think whenever we did the live streaming, they were still doing that, but the preacher and the praise team were up on the stage, and they did it. And I thought the sheriff was going to come in any minute because they're supposed to shut it down, but they just did the service.
Yeah.
And they were
an
the only
empty
ones in
church.
there. There was no
Yeah.
one out in the audience, but they were just seeing them on stage. And I thought, I bet they're going to get in trouble. But it was so bad because a lot of us said, my mom would be turning in her grave if she thought that we'd shut down church for anybody.
For anything,
And you just,
yeah.
you get your guns and you just stand outside and wait for them to go get you.
There were
You know,
pastors
she
that
would-
were arrested over that during that whole COVID thing. There are pastors that were arrested.
Yes.
for-
Oh, yeah. And they were meeting in their parking lots, and everybody stay far away. He'll scream it at you. But it was really hard on everybody. But you guys, I was there last Sunday.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
came in, and the y'all do everybody get together and eat donuts and stuff like that.
The turn and greet. Yes.
No,
Yes.
I think even before that, because
you were there for before
we
the
start about a half hour before we start,
Right.
Right.
and there's a prayer for the service coming
Yes.
up and everybody coming in. But then it's definitely donut.
Yeah, a lot of
time,
people
so.
talk about the family feel at our church, and that's part of it. We meet at 10 for a small little prayer circle thing, and then, we do the donuts and we do the coffee, and everybody catches up with each other, and what'd you do this week, and how's it going? And
Well, I took that to the extreme. I was doing the production, and I did a lot of different things over at the Spring Woodlands Church of Christ that was down down there. And so I said, you know what? I just believe if you feed them, they will come. And so I'm going to, instead of just doing donuts, we're going to do a spread. And they go, Cindy. Now, I said, no, that's going to be my contribution. I'll pay for it. And I go to HEB, and I told HEB what we're doing. And so I had, HEB has this great chicken salad. They're famous for that.
Yes, they
everybody,
do.
they really
Oh, yeah.
And so I would get a bunch of that, and then crackers and things like that. And then I'd get some meats and things. I mean, it was.
You
it
still
was
do that? I'm going to come to your church.
Yeah.
She really
It was
likes that chicken salad.
People came in and went like, what is going on? What is this? And I said, just enjoy, eat, and y'all talk, and then you can go in and sit down. And it was so much fun. And the funniest thing that happened was somebody came up to me and they went like, thank you so much. And she just kept going on and on like, thank you for having this. I can't tell you why. Well, let me tell you. My little boy just got diagnosed with something that I can't remember what she said he was diagnosed with, but she said he needed protein at times. And he said if he didn't have that protein, like immediately, he would be, it would be really bad for him. She said, and here you have these meats and stuff, and I was able to feed him that, and he's okay now. I just want you to know that. It's just,
that's awesome.
God have the next year for it. And I went, that's great to know, but it was just, I never expected that, something like that. But everybody
that's awesome.
loved it, and they, and didn't complain. Didn't have anybody complain. I think if I opened a restaurant, there's a lot of people that complain about everything.
Yeah.
But it was just good, and I overdid it. I know I overdid it because I started realizing how much I was having to spend every week for this. It wasn't like once a month, the kind of thing where everybody got together and they brought food. And I love that table picture of y'all's church with all this food, and it reminded me of the old days when we used to have food on the ground. Not food on the ground, but we'd have
that was the real
picnic
old
on the
days.
ground. Yeah.
Those were those caveman days. I think we're beyond that now.
Yes, we've come a long way, but y'all do have a very, it's cohesive, and it's so sweet, and everybody comes over and shakes your hand and says how you do, and it's funny is a lot of times they don't know if you've been there or not. I said, are you new? And I'm like, yes, I'm new, because usually I'll do that to people where we go to church and they've been there 4 years, and I went, so
yeah,
sorry.
you hate to do that.
Yeah.
I've been here 6 months. Like, ooh, and I still don't know your name.
But I still know. And I remember the name tags used to be the big thing. It's like you have church, you have no name tags. What's going on?
It is handy. You got to admit it's handy.
Yeah,
the name
no.
tags thing. We don't have it, but you got to admit it's good.
So if you guys are going down 75, north or south, and is it before the Willis High School or after Willis High School if you're going south?
If you're going south on 75, south from 1097, let's say, it'll be on the right-hand side, and it's before you get to Willis High School.
Before you get to Willis High School.
Yeah, it's about halfway between, actually, Willis High School and 1097.
Okay, I gave somebody wrong directions yesterday. Thank you. But it's you can't miss it. If there's a big gorilla out front, well, they're not there. They're in their different houses because it's Boomtown at that time, and they're doing fireworks. But it's only twice a year when they do that. So
there's a big sign out front that says "Sinners Welcome." It's the easy way.
Yes, and it says "Sinners Welcome." And Martha told me a funny story. She said y'all were there at night having
I told you that last
small
week.
groups.
Oh, yeah, we do our thing called God Talks on Tuesday nights, where it's a free-for-all kind of question and videos and all that.
And she said a guy walked in because he saw the Sinners Welcome, part, and I loved that. I thought that was really smart. That was
Yeah, we mean it, and it was one of those things that he added so much, because when you get somebody who really is just a little bit lost, I'd say, you know, as he was, you know, but he was looking and wanting to share and talk, and you know, you talk about people staying at home, you know, and hard to get off to church. But then you realize there's people who are alone a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And that ability to come in and talk with people. And so he really kind of dominated our Tuesday night discussion. And it wasn't just him going on and on, but it was us asking him questions. And I think when you get people that come in like that are a little lost and really needing to be around other people.
And it's kind of a
there's
win-win
a story
because
there.
he had so much to bring.
Yeah, it was such a unique perspective.
Because a lot of times we're in our own little bubbles, and so when somebody that has been in jail or somebody that's had been addicted to drugs and wants to come in and share that, it's just that's good for you to see and know, like, okay, I need to get out and help somebody.
To be a home for them, to make people feel welcome. And I think that's the little difference in our there's so many different churches out there, and and people complain about that. Say, well, there's so many. Why do we need so many? And you go, because we're all so different.
That's true.
We're all so individual. Sometimes you need to be in a small room with just a few people, and other times you want to be in a big, huge room full of tons of people.
And get lost. You want to be lost so that you can just let me hear this. I just want to take this in, and me and God are talking now, and I don't want to be everybody coming up and patting me on the back and all that stuff. But I love traveling around, and when I go to different churches, when we were in Florida or wherever, and I go in, and I go up to the people and go, "Hi, how are you doing?" And it's like, "I'm Cindy," and they go like, "Hi. Do we know her?" Because these churches have been like secluded for so long, they have the same people every week, and so somebody comes in and you go up and introduce yourself. That's what's fun, because it really takes them back, and I go like, okay.
And then there's the little churches where you open the door and everybody in the place turns around and looks. It's like,
they have all the pews sitting at the door,
right.
and so you open them up, and
you find out they don't wear jeans and a
surprise
and a t-shirt to church. You find that out the hard way, So.
No, I was bemoaning the fact that they decided to tell the Senate that they don't have to wear suits anymore. Now the staff does. They're making the staff wear, dress up, but the senators can dress however they want to. Thank you.
Oh, I can see that ending well.
Fetterman. So, that's going to be.
Did you ever see that movie Idiocracy? There's a courtroom scene in there where everybody's dressed up outrageously, and I could see the Senate turning into
it's going to be interesting to see how they take it. Either some people are going to get mad and they're going to start wearing tuxes, because they're going to rebel against them going casual, fun. And so it'll be fun to watch how that goes. So it depends on who's coming in as the next administration. They may change.
You never know. One thing you know.
Yeah, that's right.
You never
don't
know.
count anything. You just don't know. And I try and tell my kids that it's just a changing world, and you kind of got to just go with the flow and accept if it's wrong. But if you just go, and because it's going to change in about 4 years, it'll all change, and that's okay. But we were talking about yesterday, if what you consider is something that is, I don't want to do this because it's wrong, but how do you know it's really wrong? If you don't, how do you find out if it's really wrong or not? Do you just feel like you've done something wrong? If you were raised a certain way, of course you're going to feel, like it's something like that my kids want to do, and I go like, oh, we never did that. So you don't do that because we didn't do that. But they say, but it's a different time. It's just a different time. And I said, yeah, but it's the same sin. It doesn't matter because, there's no new sin under the sun. And they go like, what in the world does that mean? they thought that was such a weird statement.
Exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah. And it's everything that you think that you've done that's wrong. It's already been done. They've been there, done that, and got the T-shirt for it. So it doesn't matter what you think is wrong. It's wrong. And God's already got a punishment for that if you decided to take it that way. Yeah. But I love that y'all, what you're teaching and what you're, professing to the community is so good and family oriented and very, home-like. And then you have a youth group on Monday nights, and that's what my granddaughter wanted to go to. Now, we never, like if you go to Church of Christ, this Church of Christ, then that's what you could do, and you don't go off to other churches. You go, and I said, okay, well, I'll let y'all go. And so my grandson went with this boy Tyler.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So
they know Tyler?
We know Tyler.
Yeah, great kid.
Yeah.
So it was, but I said, but I want to see what they're, like what they're doing. I'd like to go and just make sure that they're not,
Right.
Yeah,
Good call.
no snakes, no,
So,
nothing being
are
sacrificed.
you a boy or a girl? Tell me exactly what you think you are.
None of the
Anything
drawings
like
on
that.
the ground. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, I went and it was great. And and then Sunday I came Sunday, and that's why I wanted to get y'all on, because it's an unusual deal, and I think people going past that and Sinners Welcome and then Boomtown, they need to
Figure
Yeah,
themselves
that's
out.
a little confusing. But
Now, here's the thing about this church that I thought was extremely interesting, is that they're getting ready to lose their preacher, and you think, if you lose your preacher, everybody will go away. And that's not this church. This church
no,
is
it's
very
kind of the opposite.
Yeah, everybody is clinging together, and you're gonna get through it, and it's gonna be fun finding someone else. And y'all, are you gonna audition them? Are you gonna put them up there to audition, or do you know?
Right now, so that's what I'm taking over.
Oh, that's
so
yours. Okay.
it was kind of weird how it all worked out. Martha and I have always been involved in kind of charity ministries, and we've been part of churches for we pastored churches in the
he's
past,
been a
but they
lay
were
pastor
homeless.
for 18 years.
They were for the homeless. They were at the ranch for the guys getting off drugs. So it was always that kind of thing. So to be in an actual church, is a little different. So so it's really been funny. It's been the most easy transition of anything that's really been out there, kind of because the core group of people that were the staff kind of filled in. One of our guys was on the music team. I was always the backup, the fill-in pastor, and so it's just kind of like, okay, now it'll just be full-time
Right.
in terms of the message, preaching. I
Right.
shouldn't say pastoring,
And you've
but in
met
terms
Josh,
of message.
the youth pastor.
And you
Yes.
met Josh, our youth pastor, and he was
Yes.
already there. And so it was kind of, and Jim, one of our other guys, Jim, he's an engineer, a businessman who's been there forever. So there were so many people that it became very easy to move from the pastor who started the church, and it was kind of a one person, him and his wife really were driving everything and were doing everything,
Yeah.
to now it's turned into really more what it should be, because it's older. The
That's
church has
right.
been around 15 years.
And you have
so
elders, that is
Yeah.
it's funny.
Yes, the
and a
first
lot of
thing we
people
did
don't
was-
understand. And they always say shepherds. Our shepherds are, and I'm like, why do y'all say that? Because nobody here is going to understand.
Yeah, you
The
think of
kids,
somebody
how
in a
they get-
robe with
yeah.
a little crook.
Yeah, are the sheep coming in next, or what's
right.
what's going to happen? But to explain that the Bible is pretty profound and
Yeah.
clear on having a group of men that's going to be older and wiser, and they help guide the.
Yeah, if you think of it as a
your
board
own-
of directors, it's really closer to what these guys are doing. So.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I like that. And how many elders meetings I've been to,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just and it's all funny. If you're staff in any church and you go, well, we can't go because we have an elders meeting, they go, oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay, I hope that goes
Yeah.
well with you.
Yeah. Thank God ours has gone really well. All
Yes,
five
it
of
has.
us are so different, where they all have different backgrounds. And we even, for elders, we have different ages. We probably have, our youngest one's probably 35, but,
Oh, wow.
Okay.
but
Yeah.
incredibly stable,
30s.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's really about maturity
Yes.
and, than age. Because there's some pretty immature older people.
No, that's right.
So,
Yeah, that's my
Yes,
Yeah.
there are.
my
Yeah.
18-year-old talks about how y'all think y'all are, because you're older, that you're more mature, and I think I'm more mature than y'all are. I don't know what y'all are talking about. And I went, you don't even know. I said, he goes, yes, I do, much more than you think I do. He does that, and I go like, wait a minute, what do you think you know? Tell me what you think you know. But they do get that feeling like, but you're older, and it was a different time, so don't try and compare yourself. And because my husband is the great for back in the day. I remember, what we did was we never sat down and looked at anything more than an hour, because we didn't have that time. We had so many things we
Yeah,
had
so
to
there's
do,
stuff to do.
and they go like, okay, but it's interesting, and I love to have the youth part of it, because they can teach you a whole lot about what's going on, because we don't know a lot that they're having to put up with, and the pressures that they have. And so to have this break, and they want to come, they really enjoy that Monday night thing, and they can't wait to go back. And I'm the driver, and so I'm taking them and bringing them back. But it's been great. So you guys have got such a cool, project going on. Now you may change the name.
We are changing the name.
You are changing the name.
It will be Disciples Pathway.
Disciples Pathway?
Pathway, yes.
Okay. All right. That's good. I
Well,
like
in the
that.
10-12, most people, like when we first came, we're like, hey, so what's this 10-12? We figured it was a Bible
Before
verse,
we went,
or
we looked
something
up
like
every
that.
10-12 verse that we could
Okay.
find, and nothing
I'm
really
I'm
fit.
going to ask Richard. Richard, what do you think the 10-12 means? Uh-oh. Oh, wait.
I don't know.
Yeah, good. If you knew, that would be problematic,
Yes.
really.
Okay. So, will you explain it, Mark? What's
Well,
10-12?
we started with so we went through thinking it's a Bible verse, and then we went through, and some of the Bible verses you go, oh, I hope that's not.
Oh, that's not it.
I hope that's not it. I mean,
That's
it's like, oh
problematic.
my gosh, and then there are other ones you go, nope, that's definitely not it. But so we got there, we asked him, I said, so what does the 10-12 stand for? He says, well, that's the date they started, December 12th.
October 12th.
October 12th.
October 12th.
Yeah, and we kind of went, oh, and I think, and that's been the general response. It's people are like, well, oh, okay.
I thought it was going to be so much more than mysterious and
So did we.
and
Yes.
deep and all that stuff. And it was like,
Yeah, and so
that's
it was
the day we
kind of,
started.
yeah, and it's kind of like, oh, so it's easy to remember our church anniversary.
Yeah,
I will say
yeah.
that,
But we've taken to calling it the 10 Commandments and the 12 Disciples, so that kind of fits.
Wow.
10,
Yeah.
12.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was
He thought of that.
how brilliant. That's
somebody,
really good.
and we're kind of saying, that it's Old Testament, New Testament, and we're covering it all. But at that stage, it was really because, and it's one of those things like so many things, especially charities, you start doing the work, you start doing the ministry work, and you don't necessarily put all the paperwork in place, do
Right.
everything that needs to be done. And then there hits a time where you need to do it. And that's where we're at. It finally kind of hit a spot where it's like, okay, everything needs to be registered. They were registered properly and all that. The church was doing everything right.
Right.
But so there was no problems there. But it was all being done kind of third party. And so now we're sort of doing everything, through the normal channels and all that. And so it kind of hit like, well, it'd be almost easier just to give it a new name and then let the congregation choose it.
Yes,
And if they
yes.
wanted to keep it, but to let people say, what's our mission statement, and what is it that we really want to do? Because everybody on our staff, and this is not to put down any other church, because it's 100% appropriate, but in ours, everybody has jobs outside. So one of the neat things we can talk about is when we talk about donations and giving and having the right heart for it, it's really handy because none of us profit from any of that. We all have our outside jobs, and even our past pastor, same thing. We've always been one of those that we want to be able to talk about absolutely anything without worrying about how it comes
Right.
across. And so with it, we all work elsewhere as we come on in. And so that kind of set that, well, what is it that we really want to do? When you're all working out of the church, we recognize that our big job is to make disciples. Jesus gave us the
right.
command to go out and make people. People all want to know what their purpose in life is.
That's the
If you're a
purpose.
follower,
Yeah.
your purpose is disciple. Be discipled yourself and disciple others. And so that's why we then went with the disciples pathway. It's like that's what our focus has really been as a church, and where other churches might be really good at bringing absolute first timers who have never heard anything in,
Right.
and introducing them. But so that's kind of a neat thing with the big mega churches and the big ones that have the big show and the big
Right.
music shows and have the fancy buildings. It gives people a comfortable, safe place to go when they don't know anything because it kind of seems familiar. It's a building. We can walk in and we can walk out.
Yes.
Then there's on the other end of it, which that's beautiful and great that God can use that way. But then we can come along and be a smaller place and find people, a lot of ours is Josh, our youth pastor, had always said we're kind of a triage unit for people. So, when
This
people
is
are,
a supplement
Very
for
accurate.
you.
yeah,
This is
they've been
what you
beaten
need.
and they're
Yeah.
down and drugs, alcohol, they've gone through whatever. And now
Feeling
they're,
a little lost, like
Yeah.
the guy last
And they
year.
don't
yeah,
feel
a little lost. Yeah.
And the deal is they don't feel worthy of walking into a church because they think you have to be saved and perfect. And all
Right.
that
They think
to
they
walk
have
into
to have
that
their ducks
church.
in a row before they come to church, and that's
Right.
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
not the case.
And that's not that.
Not
You
at our
kind of
church.
saw it at our place. It's
And
not.
we were talking about whenever the change the clothes you had to wear, growing up back in the day, we had to wear, like heels and a
Right.
dress
Your
and all
Sunday
that
dress
stuff.
and the
Yeah.
shined shoes.
And I couldn't wait to be old enough to be able to say sister so and so, and then they quit calling each other sister and brother. And I'm like, shoot,
After all
I
that.
missed that. But it was there has been a lot of change, and people. I try and tell the kids it has come a long way. If y'all think it's strict now, you should have been back with us back then. And things that you could and couldn't say, and I thought the women were going to be put on one side of the church, but we didn't do that. But it's been great, and I'm so glad it's there. I don't care, and the narrative that's been put out there that the church is fading away and
dying.
it's all going to go away. But that's what I love about the youth. Anything the youth stuff is going on. But now we're going to make a change in our program because we have been talking about the church that is going to be called Disciples Pathway.
Pathway.
Remember that, and that would be the church to look for down 75 if you want to go in and experience some real family time. It's great, but these two have got the most amazing job. You do work outside the church, and you do have your own place. And I found out I was trying to get a hold of Mark, and they kept saying treadmill or
Tuff Tread.
Tuff Tread.
Yeah.
Tuff Tread. So I'm thinking Tuff Tread. What is this, a tire place? Oh, maybe he works at a tire place. And so that's what I thought it was. And I talked to Martha, and she goes, "Oh no. It's not that at all." And she starts trying to explain to me what. It's a treadmill. It's,
But
and I
not
said,
what you
okay,
think.
I understand treadmill. Okay, if you said that, I understand that. It's not tires. She says, no, it's not. It's not a treadmill either. It's not the treadmill that you think it might be. So I'm going to give Mark or Martha, whoever you want to
All right. Whatever.
to explain that. She starts saying, these are treadmills like for skiers, for people, and she starts going through the different types of treadmills that are very unique and custom made, I guess, for.
Yes,
and
we
that's
have a
what
lot
y'all
of
do.
custom-made treadmills, and in fact, so many that some of them have become a production unit for us. But we have treadmills that are used for cross-country skiing, for robotics testing, for high-performance athletes, professional athletes work out on our treadmills. We have we made one for a dog walker, for a doggy daycare, so that they could walk 6 dogs at the same time on one treadmill. We pretty much will take any custom job that comes up. In fact, we're working on one right now to test tractors, where they build like John Deere sort of tractut and
The small ones,
carts,
like
small
the,
ones,
like,
yeah.
like the riding mowers and all that.
Right,
stuff.
a little bigger than this table, but they would put something on there and run it on this treadmill for hours and hours and hours. It's huge
Oh, for
and
testing.
very heavy. But yes, for
Yeah,
testing.
destructive testing and all that. And and so we do big ones. So
ones,
some of
we
them
do little
are
ones.
typically 9 feet wide, 10 feet wide, and maybe 20 feet long.
Good
and
grief.
so we do it in the movie industry. All the
Oh, yeah,
Marvel
forgot about
movies,
those.
all the Guardians of the Galaxies and all that. We did them a custom machine for one of their movies. And
Jackass. Don't forget Jackass.
yeah.
Two.
And
Jackass
what-
4. Yeah.
And what Jackass
4, the most recent Jackass movie.
Jackass 4.
Yes,
Yeah.
they did a whole marching
Yeah,
band on a
so-
treadmill thing,
yeah.
and that was our treadmill.
That's
so.
wonderful. Oh
Yeah,
my
we
goodness.
we
That's
weren't
great.
really sure about what that was or what that was going to be, and
Yeah,
we were a little.
something
Thank
else.
goodness, the one thing they put us in, nobody was getting naked, nobody was
Yeah.
being disgusting, and they just were pretending to have a marching band on one of our high speeds, and made it
yeah.
go very fast and
That
chucked them all
is-
and got them hurt. And
Yeah.
so
That is awesome because I'm trying to think of what.
Oh, there it
I
is.
think he's found it. Here it is.
Yes, he
Okay.
has.
yeah.
Okay, so they're getting to see this now, ladies.
Oh, we've seen it. We were
Oh
there.
yeah, we were
actually,
there.
At the time.
We're just off camera right there.
And this
There's our name, Biggest Life, right on the side.
Tuff Tread.
Yeah, there. Now you know the name.
guy. This is out right there.
Yeah, and one of them, the Steve-O guy right down there, he's not moving. He went off to the hospital that day.
Oh, he did?
Oh, yeah, he was really hurt.
Yeah, like I said, we were off camera
goodness.
when they filmed this, and they were.
Well, they don't show it in here, but there's a forklift behind that big metal
behind that
door,
big steel door,
so that it wouldn't give at all. So when they hit it, it just doesn't move.
Yeah. They told us when they started the filming, they said no sound at all. Whatever you see, whatever happens, no one says anything until the director says cut.
Yeah.
Okay, and we watched all this taking place, and I'm like, Mark, that guy's not moving.
How could
He
you?
said, what? I said, that guy's not moving.
He hasn't
'cause
moved at all.
Hadn't moved at all before the guy finally said cut, and they said, all right, let's scrape him up off the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you did. But the Marvel movie.
The Marvel
that
one
you did.
was
Yeah, you don't see our treadmill in that one.
because it was meant for the special
effects.
effects studio. So we were in this. So it was for a 9-second shot.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a treadmill that cost about $80,000 for a 9-second shot.
9-second shot.
Yeah, but they loved the, but they put it on their special effects green screen studio, and they shot the shot, and they were so happy with it that they told us, hey, you guys are set. Every one of our movies from now on, we're gonna use your machine, because it was so big. That one was about 60 feet long and about 12 feet wide.
Huge.
The belt, the actual running surface, and it went extremely steep. And so they said, we're going to do the hero walk from now on. So the hero walk is in all the superhero movies. There's the point where the hero and all of his friends are walking off, and the bomb blows up behind them, and all that stuff. That's called. We didn't know that. That's called the hero walk, and they've always had a problem because they can't get all of the heroes together walking
In front of a green screen.
Yeah, and so they would
natural.
put them on.
And that's what y'all provided. Was that so? Every time we see the movie and we see the hero walk happen, they're walking on
More than likely.
Yeah,
it's
so we don't
Tuff
do.
Tread
We're not the
movie.
cool company, but we just make the cool company look good. So.
You're the source.
And by the way, he'll be arrested after this because he had to sign
Oh yeah.
an NDA that included all of the known universe. I think we're still in the universe.
Yeah,
there,
they were very tight about their non-disclosure, and they were tighter than. And we've done a lot of government work, even for the military, and they're not nearly as secretive as the movie people are.
I know.
Yeah.
I was interviewing someone, the guy he wrote this book for Groucho Marx, and he was, his secretary, and he wrote this book, and I get him on the air. I find out that he had told me about this movie that they're doing, that they're going to be doing called Raised Eyebrows or something. And I said, okay. He said, but we can't say anything about it at all because there's a lot of all that stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
We don't want to mess up any of the. I said, oh, sure, no problem. Okay, and I won't say anything about it. Don't ever tell me right before an interview not
Don't
to
talk
say
about
that.
this.
Don't talk
Yeah.
about this, because the first thing that my brain triggers in is like,
Oh yeah.
so that you're excited about that movie that you're doing, and now this was on the phone. We were on the phone, so I couldn't see his expression. I was so happy I couldn't. And he said, okay, so about how many people do you think are listening to your show? And I said, well, I mean, we're on the internet. We go all over the. Oh, so that's not a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So probably in Conroe, I don't think you're going to have a problem. I don't think anybody in Conroe probably will worry about me saying that, and we'll forget it immediately. But I told I just remember thinking you should never tell anybody. And I've said the same thing. I've said, like, okay, here's the deal, like, don't talk about that, because I said, I've done the same thing to somebody, and I realized it was so wrong, because your brain, that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
first
It's
thing
like
that you
telling
wanna
somebody,
talk
don't
about.
think about the pink elephant. And
Yeah,
the first thing they'll think about is-
exactly right.
Yeah.
But how exciting and interesting is that? Has the Conroe Courier done an article on y'all?
We're a really bad marketing company. We're really good engineers,
build
and we
great
make really
treadmills,
good products
but
and all that stuff. But
marketing,
we're
not so much.
really bad about promoting ourselves. We kind of Martha did our website and helped and redid that. And, and then we start just putting a list of all of our customers because there's
Yeah,
it's
we
really
surprise ourselves when we
unusual.
do that. It's like, wow, we've
Yeah,
done
we have
that many of
machines,
those?
ski machines going out next week to
You're
Utah.
right. The ski machines are
University
the
of
ones that
Utah.
have turned into kind of a production unit for us. We've done so many, 10, 15.
Cross-country skiing.
Right,
Well,
cross-country skiing.
So,
it's,
so you're building it's like a treadmill for someone who's having to practice and be able to have a treadmill that they can act
yes,
like
they
they're
use
on.
roller skis on them, but
okay.
it's very much like skiing.
And they're
so-
big. They're big things. So they're like we did one for the Canadian cross country, their Olympic team, for the Norwegians Olympic team, for we're dealing with the U.S. ski team, and so and then you have individual clubs that put them in. But yeah, they're using it for conditioning. So like even for our athlete ones, the athlete units go 30 miles an hour. So it's for athletes not to jog on like at the gym. It's for athletes to sprint on full out, get them going faster, and then having harnesses to hold them because they're going to run faster than they can.
Right.
And then it catches them but it's all about conditioning and all that. It's not as much about technique.
So you're on and it's going like this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So it catches them before they go to.
Before they fall off.
Before they fall off, yes.
And
So
at
they're on
30,
harness.
if they're at 26, 27 miles an hour, they don't just casually fall off. They come
Right, yeah,
flying
it's pretty
off.
spectacular.
So
Yeah.
the clip you saw with the band there,
Yeah.
that was only going 15 mials an hour.
Right.
And so
Really?
so it was
Did
going.
they speed it up? Did they speed up the?
They
No,
want
that
it.
was
No,
actual
oh no,
speed.
that's
They
what we
didn't
tell
need to.
people. We had to warn them over and over again.
Right.
Go,
They
this
kept
is a lot
saying, no,
more
we want it
dangerous than
faster.
you
We want it
think.
faster. We want it faster. And we finally talked them into testing it. So they had a huge sandbag that was like human size and weight.
Yeah.
And they took that up on the lid and said, okay, let's see what happens if we just drop this on this treadmill going, was it 30 miles an hour?
Yeah, they wanted it. Yeah.
Yeah, so they dropped it. And
we-
that was when they realized that it would hit that steel door
And they
behind
had to-
it. And they put they put the forklift in front of it. And then they started talking about the speed. And we said, 15 miles an hour will be plenty fast. And you guys are going to get plenty hurt. You really don't need it to go any faster than that.
Oh my!
And we finally talked them into slowing it down to 15. But that actually was 15.
That is, do you have grandchildren?
No.
No. Okay. I was going to say you would be like the coolest grandparents in the world that you worked on a Jackass movie. It's like,
We're aunts and
They would
uncles, so we kind of get that from the
from
aunts and
everybody.
uncles. Yeah, from the
yeah,
nephews
when y'all
and
have any
grandnieces
kind of
and all that.
Thanksgiving and they say, so what are you working on now? And what do and like what kind of treadmills do you do? Ones for kids? Do you have any custom?
One of the things we're really interested in doing more of, because there's going to be a paper published from a researcher back in New York, and he has a facility called Inclusive Sports on Long Island, where his whole thing is about taking, in particular, autistic kids and training them like you train athletes. Now, he also includes other, audible and visual training. But one of his big things is he uses a lot of our high-speed treadmills, and because they have the harness, and he puts their kids on it and takes them up to the higher speeds. And his public paper will come out in a major journal coming up here before too long. But it's showing about results about helping the autistic kids come out of their bubble, out of being so internally focused, because the treadmill forces the movement. So they have to come out because of self-preservation
Yeah, they have to focus
says.
on the world around them instead of on themselves. So it draws their focus out.
Exactly.
Like nothing else can. And he has them.
And it's the weird thing about us, too, is we work with so many different kind of companies. So we work a lot. Caltech is probably and MIT are probably our biggest customers in terms of number of machines they bought.
Right, they keep buying robotics treadmills.
Yeah, that's for the researchers. So you get to go out and see really cutting edge research
Oh,
for
my word.
for
Yes.
the the robots. But we had a week where we went from there, and then we flew up to Whistler, Canada, to work on a ski machine for their Olympic team. So now you've got experts at a high level but it's a totally different thing. The other people are trying to figure out how to interface with the treadmill, and then you start seeing the research, and then you start learning things that help us advance what we're doing.
Of course.
And then we then get to go up and then deal with Olympic coaches who have a totally different interest in the machine, and they're wanting to know what we can do to improve their athletes.
Right.
And so they're talking with us, and then we we went from there, then out to Alex's with the autistic kids, and then we're popping back down to work with the military on some of their stuff that they're working on. And you just get to, so we're not experts in hardly anything.
No,
we're really good at making
Jack of all
treadmills,
trades.
but we
Right.
see
Yeah,
everything.
we get exposed to a lot of
Yes.
things.
And it's been, and we think, and this is, we always look too at our job and our work as that has always been our full-time ministry. The church is an important part of it now and becoming more important. And I think because we're getting older, God now has us working more and more in the church.
Speak for yourself.
Right.
But because I'm getting older.
There you go.
Yeah,
I
not you.
love my husband goes like, we're so old right now. I don't think, wait.
What do you mean we? Got a
Yeah,
mouse in your pocket there?
that's
Well, we
individual
are
thing.
elders. So
You're an elder,
I'm an
I am
elder.
not.
Yeah, that's true.
All
Oh,
right.
yeah, you're right. You're not getting older.
Okay, then.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's right.
And so, but but we don't. So our company really shouldn't exist if it wasn't for God's hands.
Oh,
amen.
Because we're such an oddball. We're the definition of a niche company. We've got the weird thing is we've got about 9 or 10 niches that we're that we're in, and so it turns it into a real business. And we've always used it in the past, like when we had our ranch, when our friend Jack Hay had the ranch, we were right across the street. And so we would be bringing in and training guys coming back off the street who have lost some of their, because of drugs and alcohol, lost some of their skills. And they would come and work in our place. And so we would work them, train them up, and unfortunately then send them out to other companies once they were ready for the public.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
But it was always part of our work was bringing them
Sure.
in, and so so we'd always seen, and we've always been part of Christian businessman things and all that. But one of the things we've always were trying to get across to people, your purpose can change so dramatically when it's eternally focused. So like our business, some of the people are when they talk to our workers, like Rick Smith, who I mentioned to you about, who lived in Conroe all his life.
Rick Smith.
Will-
Oh my goodness! And you've lived in Conroe all your life. You're just, and you work with these guys. What?
Yeah, he's a lucky person.
You are so lucky.
But
plug.
with that, that's one of those things that you go, well, that gives you a real purpose. And people say, well, our company has a very family feel, and it's the same thing as the church. Well, it's because we really care what happens with our people, and our customers are different at work because the projects are a little more specialized. If we were a roofing company or somebody and you're doing roofs so quickly and there's so much work to be done, that's a difficult thing to develop that relationship just because of time.
True.
You could have the heart for it, but you don't have the time for it. Our customers we deal with. So a typical project from the first phone call to being shipped and it's sitting in their room is 6 months to a year, just because you're finding out what their needs are. They're having to put it to a bid process. They're having to get it approved by, a big company or a big government agency. And so you
Yikes.
work with them.
Yikes.
Yeah. So we're used to this. It's not an easy job, but
No.
but you get to know them in a way. And,
But how rewarding that is.
Yeah.
That's just,
It is.
I mean, it's not as rewarding as you being the elder at the church, but I mean, just for.
But
for,
it can be. That's what we kind of
You-
wanted people to know is it can be. Your work can really be just like what you're doing, bringing, it's your faith.
Right.
You put it out there. It's not that we're trying to dictate people how to live their life. It's
No.
just like we're making them aware of, man, if you're a young man like Tyler that you talked about in our youth group, if you're a young man that's in there, that's somebody really looking for purpose because of his age. And he really
Yes.
wants to make something of himself. And
Sure.
he wants a challenge at that age. And that's where the weakening or softening of the message for so many people is, well, I could do full-time work in the church. And that's always bothered me when a pastor said, well, I quit my job to do full-time work, pastoral work. And you're like, no, your Christian walk faith is full-time,
That's
whether
right.
you're here
Right.
or
No
you're
matter where
at
you
work or
that
you're
outside,
at church.
that outside connection that you still need for sure. And he's given me this, and I'm just he doesn't do this at least. He's going like this, so I have to wrap it up. And how exciting! Y'all are going to have to come back. We'll have to do something else because that was just amazing. Or y'all invite me out to
There you go.
your place, and
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll take
Yeah.
pictures. But anyway, thank you so much, Mark and Martha White from the 1012 Church, and it's going to be
Disciples
called
Pathway.
Disciples Pathway.
Yes.
And soon, coming soon, and we'll talk to them about that as well. Thank y'all so much. Thank you for your work, your love, your the heart you have is just amazing.
Well,
And
thanks for having us. This has been fun.
Okay.
thanks.
I got to say, we love our first responders, and we just love you so much. We respect you, and we just think you're great. So,
Yep.
love you.
Every week, people ask the same two questions. Are they ready to retire? Will their savings last for their lifetimes? Hi, this is Chris Wootton with Wootton Financial Group. Our firm has been in Montgomery County for decades, but the hopes and dreams of the people we serve never change. We help answer these two questions and many more that people have about their uncertain financial future. We have a simple introductory client experience that allows us to get to know the client and includes a few meetings for the client to kick the tires at no charge. We provide a concise, one-page summary that helps the client get a better handle on which questions are the right questions for them. To learn more about Wootton Financial Group's process in helping their clients to a clearer financial future and to see their contact information, visit Cindy Cochran Show page on irlonestar.com/TCCS. Wootton Financial Group is a proud sponsor of the Cindy Cochran Show. Wootton Financial Group is available by phone at 936-449-5952 or visit them on the web at www.woottonfinancial.com. That's www.woottonfinancial.com.
This program is sponsored by the Wootton Financial Group. It is not the intent of Wootton Financial Group to render or offer personalized investment advice or financial planning advice through this radio program or any related website. Wootton Financial Group's participation in this program is limited to providing general information on financial matters and should not be construed as financial recommendation or investment advice. Investment advisory services are offered through Game Plan Advisors, Inc., a registered investment advisor registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission and the state of Texas. Insurance services are offered through Wootton Financial Group, Inc. Game Plan Advisors and Wootton Financial Group, Inc. are affiliated through common ownership, and neither firm is affiliated with The Cindy Cochran Show. No listener should assume that any information presented and or made available on this program serves as the receipt of or a substitute for personalized individual advice from Game Plan Advisors, Wootton Financial Group, or any of their representatives.